When you install Django, guess and you are in the first time of PyCharm, you need to do some setting. Okay. So if you see this PyCharm environment, you can see there are several options at the left panel about the projects, or you want to do the remote development. In this case, we can use SSH, and we can do customize. Customization is related with the theme that you want to deal with in the PyCharm environment. Okay, so this is the SSH connection, or you want to connect to a kind of session. So nowadays, there's a possibility to do the collaboration with others. So you can have a code with me session. So it is a live session when you are coding and other people also coding, they can do together. Or if you want to install some plugins, okay, so it also show how you can install the relevant plugins into the PyCharm. Let's say if you want to install Node.js, or you want to install some big data tools. Yeah, there are many items here that you can search in the marketplace. And PyCharm has an interactive courses platform, so you can also take a look on this platform. In this semester, I will teach you the very basic one. I cannot cover all the things in PyCharm, but if you want to get to know more, you can use this function, which is the learning features from the PyCharm. If you want to do the setting, so you need to make a new project. So let's say at the first time, when you finish with the installation, I'm going to make a project, and you can see in the left panel, there are many kind of projects that you can build. Let's say here, the first is pure Python. And then we have Django project. And in this computer, I already installed Django. If you are the first time to run with Django, there might be some kind of warning message if you have no Django. Okay. Because I already installed Django, then there is no problem with Django in my computer. Yeah, there are other kind of projects that you can use. For example, Fast API or Flash. Okay. So those are some other frameworks related to web. You can connect to Google App Engine, and you can also deal with some other platform like AngularJS, Bootstrap, HTML5, React. Okay. So those are the web platform. For this semester, we will learn Django. But before we enter the, I guess in this section, I would like to explain how you can make a hello world in Django. So in the first part of this hello world, yeah, we already learned what is the meaning by template loading. Here, I would like to explain how you make the new project. Okay? Let's make the first Django. Yeah, you can define what is your location. So the location means the folder that you want to save your project. Yeah, you can define anything. Okay, as you can see here, when I create a new project name, then this this pop-up has a warning message Python packaging tools and Django will be installed onto the selected interpreter Django. Django will be installed on the selected interpreter. You can select, there are two interpreters. The first is new environment. When you use the new environment, PyCharm will always create a new like zip file to put all the relevant libraries for Django. I do not want to use this one because it will consume a lot of memory, and also it will consume some space in your hard drive. If you already have your Anaconda and if you already install your PyCharm, it will be good if you use the configured interpreter. In this case, if you cannot find any interpreter, so you can select where is your Anaconda. Okay. So in this right panel, you can see the dot, dot, dot. When you click this one, you can select what interpreter that you want to use. If you are using the virtual environment, so you can just use the folder in your project. But now I'm using the Conda. In my case, in this computer, I have the Anaconda. So you can choose the Anaconda if you also have your Anaconda. And you need to select which folder that you use for the Anaconda. And in this case, it's the conda.exe. If you use like the system, okay, in this case, if you install Python, then you can choose this environment. If you use other kind of PIP file, yeah, you can mention the PIP something and etc. Let's say if you are using a new server, okay, let's say you have your server in the AWS, you can define with this XSA interpreter. Or if you have Docker, if you install Docker in your computer, you can use this kind of mechanism. For our course, yeah, I will not explain the Docker and etc. due to the simplicity. So I'm just using the Conda, which is installed in this computer. So I'm using this interpreter. And then if you finish, you can just create. Now you can see there is one project mentioned here. This is first Django. You don't need to make a new environment because basically if you have your interpreter, then you can just use the interpreter. So let me just use this one. So if I use Django like this one, yeah, if you already have your configured interpreter like in Anaconda, then you can just use this one. Okay, you don't need to make your new environment. Making a new environment will create a new file and it will make more space in your computer. So when you have your Anaconda or if you have your Python, you can use previously configured interpreter and then define where is the location of your python.exe. Okay. Wait a moment, there's something. Let me make. I don't know. This one should be the first Django. Am I wrong? Okay, let me try one more time. I have my Python interpreter, which is this one. And for the settings, let me just have a basic. Okay. Okay. I think in the first time I made something wrong on the new project. Let me try with this one. Hmm. In this case, there should be some kind of files, but I don't see any files here. Yeah, let me make a new project of Django. Let me make first project 01. Okay, I will put everything as a basic. Let me create. Yeah, if it is correct, there should be another folder here. Okay. There should be another folder. I will explain to you later about this folder. And if everything is fine, you will see there is a kind of yeah, your project name here. This is to indicate that your PyCharm works with your project. So if your PyCharm can run your project, then it will show the same name as your project name. In my case, this is the first project 01. That's why this name is also first project 01. So I'm mentioning here, if you're using PyCharm Community Edition, you need to build virtual environment. If you are using the PyCharm Community Edition, there is no option for interpreter. But if you are using the PyCharm Professional, you have the item to select your interpreter. So this item will not appear if you use the Community Edition. So that's why last time I asked Bob Yusuf, I'm not sure. Do you have this option? The previously configured interpreter. Do you have this option? Oh, okay. Then yeah, if after you try, please let me know. Okay. And yeah, if you run the okay, you can try. Okay. If you run your PyCharm for the first time, yeah, you need to find the existing interpreter. So in my case, I will use the Python in my Anaconda, and yeah, you can redefine the templates folder. If this one, I just use the basic. When you have your first Django, like in my computer here, so I already have my first Django, and I would like to run. So this is the button run to execute your Django file. If everything works well, you can see that now in the console here, because this is the console, there is no error. And if there is no error message, you can just click this part. You can see this is the local host. Okay, so this is the local host, and this is the port number. And when you click this, then you will see one page in your web browser. If you can see this one, then it means your PyCharm and your Django works well. Here you can see the Django. This one is the version of the Django. Okay, so some of you has errors. Let me pause. But this basic Django is starting from Python. Okay. I would like to teach you Python first, how we can use Python in the PyCharm environment. And then yeah, we can deal with the HTML. Before this HTML file, maybe I will explain for you one assignment that you need to do before we finish our class later. Okay, but PyCharm in the original goal for using the PyCharm is for the Python. So Python is a kind of interpreter language, and the comments are executed through the Python interpreter. So the interpreter receives a command, evaluates that command, and reports the result of the command. A programmer defines a series of comments in advance and saves those comments in a text file. And you can call the text file as a source code or a script. When you are using Python, the source code is conveniently stored in a file named .py. Let's say if you make a new file demo.py, then it is a Python source code. Now let's make our first project with Python first, okay? I would like to teach you some Python basic language. Maybe some of you have not familiar with Python, and it's also good to understand how we can create the Python file in the PyCharm environment. So PyCharm provides a lot of built-in projects. One of them is Django. For the primary, we will build pure Python. Let's make a new project and let's make it a Python trial. So I will make a new project and I will make a pure Python. So the pure Python means you just make a Python file. Yeah, you can change the folder name, let's say Python trial. And you need to define where is your interpreter. The same with the Django, yeah, you need to have one interpreter language. In this case, yeah, I'm using the Anaconda folder and we have the python.exe. And you can see that there is one option here. We want to create a main.py. So it is a welcome script. It is automatically created when you first time create a pure Python project. Let's just create with this one, and you can change this window. Or for example, if you want to see this window at the same with the project 01, that's also fine. Or if you want to make a new window, that's also fine. Okay? Let's say I'm just making in this window, so I'm going to terminate. The terminate means I want to stop the project that I was doing. And then I will have my I will have my first Python trial project here, and there is one file which is main.py. In this main.py, there's an explanation. This is a sample Python script, and you can press Shift F10 to execute it or replace it with your code. You can press double shift to search anywhere for classes, files, tools, windows, actions, and settings. So here, and I unlock this one. Yeah, I need to make it bigger, or let me, I'm not sure what is good. What is the good one? Whether it is dark or light like this, which is better? Which is better for you? White is better? Okay. Okay, then I will use this one. Yeah, I think it's more clear. So when you make the first Python with the main method, here is the main method. Here I'm going to run one method which is print high. So the print high has been defined here. If you run this Python file, you can go and click in this run button. When you run this, you will see the result, high PyCharm. So this high PyCharm is from this statement. I would like to call the method print high, and then in the print high, I have one parameter which is name, and then name will be placed inside this curly braces. If I include PyCharm here, then PyCharm will be printed here. And then high, it is the string that I will print. F means this is the format, the string format that I want to print in the console. So we call this is the console. Yeah, there is one file main.py that is created, and the contents contain one function which is print high with one parameter. And there is also one main method. So we call this is the main method. So this is the main method to execute your program, and this is the function or the method that you can create for any kind of statements. You can run your code using run button, or you can press Shift F10. So let's say if I want to Shift F10, then you can also get the result. Now I would like to make a new Python file. Okay. So inside the project, you can create a new Python file. You can click on the right mouse button and create new Python file. In this case, I have one project, Python trial, and then you can do the right click, and then you can click new. Yeah, there are many options here. You can create a file. A file means just a text file, and then new scratch files. It is any kind of files that you can create. Of course, it is still in the form of txt, or you can make another kind of file like RTF and something like text. Okay. You can create directory. You can create a Python package. The idea is still the same, directory and Python package. It is one directory. Now let's just skip for those things. We will also learn in the next weeks. Okay. Let's make a Python file. and you can create any new Python file. I don't know, can I guess this one? Is there any Python file? Okay, so there is no specification. You can type anything. Let's say I want to make a new file trial. So once you press, you can see this one is Python file or Python unit test or Python stop. So they are different. So in this case, I'm just using the Python file. Just press enter, and then you will see there is one new file created in your project, which is trial.py. And now it is an empty space here, and you can put anything. For example, you want to print hello world. Print hello world. So when you have this print hello world, you can run. Oops, the result is still a high PyCharm. What happened? Yeah, you can see here now the indicator shows main.py. You can click here. You can do the editing, how you can do the configuration, or you can right click on this trial.py and you can run trial. If you do this one, it means you are running the trial.py, and there is another option. You can use the Control Shift plus F10. So when you run this Python file, then you will see the hello world. And you can see now the name here has been modified to trial. This is the trial.py. Okay. And yeah, you can have another kind of statement like hello world, comma 5. Okay. So it is to put any other data elements into this environment, and Control Shift F10 is option to print the result. So we have the hello world exclamatory sign and then 5. Okay. If it does not contain main method, then you need to choose run manually. Okay, so what I show you before, you need to choose the run in your .python file and then choose the name like this one, or you can press the Control Shift F10. Okay, I guess I will stop here.